to accept the complaint and suspend pending a hearing. That'd be my motion.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilman Little Dog,
I'll second the motion.
second by Councilwoman Tapio. Also, I want to recognize Councilman Cross at 2:19. Thank you for coming. Go ahead.
Can the complaint be read? Is that public information? Just for public knowledge and for Mr. Rooks? I don't know if he knows why the complaint's on him or who filed it or anything.
Just the names, probably. Yes, like complaint filed by and so forth against to plaintiff and defendant. Basic information, I guess. Okay, so we got a second on the floor.
Okay.
Okay, Secretary, call for the vote. Explain.
Okay, this motion is made by Garfield Little Dog, seconded by Robin Tapio, and it is to accept the complaint filed by Christian Means against Representative Howard Rooks.
With suspension until pending hearing.
Call for the vote, Secretary.
Wesley Hawkins Sr.,
No, I have a conflict with it.
Jim Meeks,
No.
Cora Whitehorse,
No.
Ryan Jumping Eagle Sr.,
Yes.
Howard Rooks,
Not voting.
Austin Watkins Sr., Tyler Yellowboy,
Yes.
Wendell Youngman Jr.,
No.
James Cross, Anna Halverson,
Yes.
George Dreamer Jr.,
No.
Robin Tapio,
Yes.
Tyler Lunderman,
Not voting.
David Puyer,
Yes.
Donroy Gosper,
No.
Garfield Little Dog,
Yes.
Craig Dillon,
No. Hang on. Okay, so we got a tie here. 6 yes, 6 no, 5 not voting. But it doesn't.
It does, the 2/3, it has to be 12.
So it didn't meet the 2/3, so it failed. Go ahead, Councilman.
Chairman, I'll entertain a motion to accept the complaint and have a hearing set with the secretary's schedule at her earliest convenience with the ALJ. And that's my motion.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilman Yellowboy, second by Councilman Hopkins. Secretary, call for the vote.
Wesley Hawkins Senior,
Oh,
Jim Inks,
No.
Cora Whitehorse,
Yes.
Ryan Jumping Eagle Senior,
Yes.
Howard Rooks,
Not voting.
West Austin Watkins Senior, Tyler Yellowboy,
Yes.
Wendell Youngman Junior,
Yes.
James Cross,
yes.
Anna Halverson,
Yes.
George Dreamer Junior,
Yes.
Robin Tapio,
No.
Tyler Lunderman,
Yes.
David Puyer,
Yes.
Donroy Gosper,
Yes.
Garfield Little Dog,
No.
Craig Dillon,
Yes.
Okay. So we have 12 yes, 3 no, 2 not voting, motion passed. Okay, so we're gonna move on to the next agenda item. Law and Order Committee. It's all yours.
Thank you, Chairman. Resolution of Oglala Tribal Council of the Oglala Tribe. Resolution of Oglala Tribal Council of the Oglala Tribe approving the OST Grants and Contracts Office to submit a grant application on behalf of Oglala Tribe for the Office for Victims of Crime, FY 2023 Tribal Victim Service Set Aside Formula Grant Program in the amount of $409,636. Whereas Oglala Tribe, organized under Section 16 of the Indian Reorganization Act of 1934, 25 U.S.C. 5123, by adopting federally approved Constitution bylaws under Article 3 of the Tribal Constitution, the Oglala Tribal Council is the governing body of the Oglala Tribe. And whereas Article 4, Section 1F, 1K, 1M, and 1W of the Tribal Constitution empower the Tribal Council to manage the economic affairs of the tribe, protect and preserve the property of the tribe, adopt laws governing the conduct of persons on the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation, adopt laws protecting and promoting the health and welfare of the tribe and its members. And whereas the Law and Order Committee is a standing committee of the Tribal Council, which Ms. Val's got trial on there. Tribal Council oversees tribal programs that provides services to residents of Pine Ridge Indian Reservation for prevention of crimes against the victims. Whereas the Tribal Victim Services Set Aside Formula Grant Program funding will be used to support victims of crime and with mental health and substance abuse needs by building a new office specified to receiving and treating those referred for mental health and substance abuse services. And whereas the Tribal Victim Services Set Aside Formula Grant Program funding will also be used for outreach and awareness events to inform the community about missing and murdered indigenous people. And whereas the Law and Order Committee met on June 14th, 2023, and recommended approval of an application by OST Grants and Contract Office for a grant from the OVC FY 2023 Tribal Victim Services Set Aside Formula Grant Program in the amount of $409,636. And therefore be it resolved that the Oglala Sioux Tribal Council, the Oglala Sioux Tribe hereby approves and authorizes the OST Grants and Contract Office to apply for the OVC FY 2023 Tribal Victim Services Set Aside Formula Grant Program in the amount of $409,636. And be it further resolved that the President of the Oglala Sioux Tribe, or in his absence, the Vice President of the Oglala Sioux Tribe, is hereby authorized to sign any documents necessary for authorization and approval. Motion.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilman Watkins, second by Councilwoman Tapio. Call for the vote.
Wesley Hawkins Senior,
Oh,
Jim Meeks,
Yes.
Cora Whitehorse,
Yes.
Ryan Jumping Eagle Senior,
Yes.
Howard Brooks,
Yes.
Austin Watkins Senior, Tyler Yellowboy,
Yes.
Wendell Youngman Junior,
Yes.
James Cross,
yes.
Anna Halverson,
Yes.
George Dreamer Junior,
Yes.
Robin Tapio.
Yes.
Tyler Lunderman,
Yes.
David Puyer, Don Roy Gosper, Garfield Little Dog, Craig Dillon,
Unanimous 17, motion passed. Councilwoman Tapio.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Ordinance of the Oglala Sioux Tribal Council of the Oglala Sioux Tribe and Unincorporated Tribe. Ordinance of the Oglala Sioux Tribal Council of the Oglala Sioux Tribe rescinding ordinance number 20-19 as amended and requiring in-person attendance for tribal council, executive committee, and standing committee meetings for all tribal council and executive committee members unless absence is excused. Whereas the Oglala Sioux Tribe is a sovereign tribal nation that has entered into treaties as the supreme law of the land with the United States government pursuant to U.S. Constitution Article, it says 6, but that should be 4, I believe, and is a signatory to the Treaty of the Fort Laramie of 1851, 1 Statute 749, September 17th, 1851, and the Treaty of Fort Laramie of 1868, 15 Statute 635, April 29th, 1868, and continues the nation-to-nation relationship with the federal government. And whereas the Oglala Sioux Tribe organized under Section 16 of the Indian Reorganization Act of 1934, 25 U.S.C. subsection 5123 by adopting a federally approved constitution and bylaws. And under Article 3 of the Tribal Constitution, the Oglala Sioux Tribal Council is the governing body of the tribe. And whereas Article 4, Section S of the Tribal Constitution empowers the Tribal Council to regulate the procedures of the Tribal Council. And whereas the Tribal Council enacted ordinance number 20-19, March 26, 2020, to establish procedures and allow conducting Tribal Council meetings by video conferencing during a state of emergency declaration, and amended by ordinance number 22-78, December 30th, 2022. And whereas the United States is no longer under a public health emergency for COVID-19, and whereas the number of COVID-19 cases has been consistently in the low numbers with the vaccination rate at an acceptable level, and whereas it is preferable to have tribal council and the executive committee and standing committees meet in person and propose rescinding ordinances that allow for video conferencing. And whereas the OST Law and Order Committee has reviewed this proposed rescission and recommends approval by the tribal council. Now therefore be it ordained that the Oglala Sioux Tribal Council does hereby rescind ordinance number 20-19 as amended and requiring in-person attendance for all tribal council members at tribal council meetings, their respective standing committee meetings, and executive committee members at executive committee meetings unless absence is excused. And be it further ordained that the in-house attorney shall attend meetings in person, parentheses, unless permitted to appear by video conferencing by the committee chairperson or if absence is excused. And be it further ordained that this ordinance shall take effect immediately and shall supersede, repeal, and replace all prior inconsistent ordinances and resolutions of the Oglala Sioux Tribe. Motion.
Motion by Councilwoman Tapio, second by Councilman Watkins. Call for the vote.
I have my hand raised.
Okay, go ahead.
I don't agree with this. I don't agree with this because there are still people out there who are dealing with the effects of COVID, and even the federal agencies still do or allow meetings via Zoom and teleconferencing. I think we need to table this and bring it back because when we discussed it in committee, you were going to allow for certain times that council people could be on Zoom for their meetings. So my motion is to table.
Okay, so motion was tabled, so did you want, no? Go. Okay, so we have a motion by Councilwoman Whitehorse, second by Councilman Dillon. The table. Call for the vote.
Wesley Hawkins Senior. Jim Inks.
No.
Cora Whitehorse.
Yes.
Ryan Jumping Eagle Senior.
No.
Howard Rooks.
No.
Austin Watkins Senior.
No.
Tyler Yellowboy. Wendell Youngman Jr.
Yes.
James Cross.
Yes.
Anna Halverson.
No.
George Dreamer Jr.
No.
Robin Tapio.
No.
Tyler Lunderman.
Yes.
David Poyer. Donroy Gosper.
No.
Garfield Little Dog.
Yes, or, sorry, no.
Craig Dillon.
Yes.
Seven yes, 10 no. Motion failed. Go ahead, Councilman.
You know, Chair, we have all our students going back to school. There's no Zoom for our students. All our employees are expected back to work without hazard pay. You know, President Biden declared us out of the COVID stuff, and I think, you know, if we're expecting our children, our workers, everyone to go back to work in person, and it should be us too. And so I think that's what we stated in Law and Order, was that, I mean, they tried to make room for excuses, but, you know, if you have to be excused from a meeting, then so be it. I mean, we've gotten this far since 1934, the way it was, we're in person, and I think, you know, we can continue in such a manner. And that was the feeling of our Law and Order Committee that day. Thank you, Chair.
Councilwoman Tapio.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have a comment that I'm going to run the motion to approve on Saturday. And the reason I support this is for clarity purposes, because many times when you guys are on Zoom, we don't hear you. And it's hard to correct something like that. On Saturday, we had a meeting in Rapid City with housing. And actually, I was quite embarrassed because we couldn't even hear the people on Zoom. And Don had to put the microphone over there and the people had to go step in the corner to talk. You know, the people elected us. They want to hear us. They want to hear us. So I'm going to motion to go ahead and run this to support this. Thank you.
Yes, it's already in motion here. Go ahead, Secretary.
I would like to make a comment on this also. I believe this is a good thing, but what I wanted to say too is I think that would help us from being hacked. We've had several incidents where Zoom users were hacking into our system. And so they were taking over the meeting. And I think that would help. And we do have other executive officers, their staff that log in too. But previously, when we were last administration before COVID, Zoom was only used to connect to the media, to display what was going on in the meetings. And that's how we broadcasted, was when we first started using Zoom in that way. And then when COVID happened, then Zoom was totally taken over by everybody. So I just wanted to mention that too. Thank you.
Okay, Secretary, call for the vote.
Wesley Hawkins Sr.,
Oh,
Jim Inks,
Yes.
Cora Whitehorse,
No,
Ryan Jumping Eagle Sr.,
Yes.
Howard Rooks,
Yes.
Austin Watkins Sr.,
How?
Tyler Yellowboy, Wendell Youngman Jr.,
No.
James Cross,
no.
Anna Halverson,
Yes.
George Dreamer Jr.,
Yes.
Robin Tapio,
Yes.
Tyler Lunderman,
No.
David Puyer,
Yep.
Donroy Gosper,
Yes.
Garfield Little Doug,
Yep.
Craig Dillon,
No. Twelve yes, 5 no, motion passed. Chair.
Yes,
Okay.
I'm gonna have her, excuse me, go ahead and read it.
Ordinance of the Oglala Sioux Tribal Council of the Oglala Sioux Tribe and unincorporated tribe. Ordinance of the Oglala Sioux Tribal Council of the Oglala Sioux Tribe amending ordinance number 18-22 OST Personnel Policies and Procedures Manual, Chapter 12 Drug Testing Policy, Section 12-10 regarding pre-employment testing, and Section 12-20 adding a provision regarding positive tests for marijuana. Whereas the Oglala Sioux Tribe organized under Section 16 of the Indian Reorganization Act of 1934, 25 USC subsection 5123 by adopting a federally approved constitution and bylaws, and under Article 3 of the Tribal Constitution, the Oglala Sioux Tribal Council is the governing body of the tribe. And whereas Article 4, Sections 1F, 1K, 1M, and 1W empower the tribal council to manage the economic affairs of the tribe, protect and preserve the property of the tribe, adopt laws governing the conduct of persons on the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation, and adopt laws protecting and promoting the health and general welfare of the Oglala Sioux Tribe and its memberships. And whereas on August 16, 2018, the Tribal Council enacted ordinance number 18-22, OST Personnel Policies and Procedures Manual, and it has made several amendments since then. And whereas the Tribal Council has deemed it necessary to make an additional amendment to the tribe's personnel policies and procedures manual regarding the pre-employment drug testing policies, and whereas the Oglala OST Law and Order Committee has reviewed and recommends that the tribal council adopts the proposed amendments to the drug testing policies for tribal employees. Now, therefore be it ordained that the Oglala Sioux Tribal Council has reviewed the recommendation and does hereby approve and adopts the following amendments to OST Personnel Policies and Procedures Manual, Chapter 12, Drug Testing Policy, Section 12-10, as follows: amendments, underline in bold and deletion and strike through. Section 12-10. Testing designated positions. A, applicants for employment with the tribe who apply for positions that are designed as a testing designation position, TDP, will be subject to pre-employment alcohol and drug testing within 3 working days after a provisional job offer has been made and prior to the commencement of employment. TDPs shall also be subject to random testing, reasonable suspicion testing, and post-incident testing. B, the following positions are TDPs. 1, employees who carry firearms as part of their employment. 2, frontline law enforcement personnel, and including those that don't carry weapons but have access to weapons. 3, motor vehicle operators who carry passengers as part of their employment duties. 4, employees who operate vehicles that require a CDL. 5, substance abuse rehabilitation employees are equivalent employees assistant duties with direct client contact. 6, OST child care program workers. C, all applicants shall be furnished with a copy of this chapter and read and sign the consent for attached hereto prior to drug and or alcohol testing. D, TDP applicants who fail their pre-employment drug test or refuse to submit to alcohol and drug testing within 3 working days after a provisional job offer has been made will not be hired and will not be eligible for reconsideration for hire for at least 6 months. E, position description shall state whether the position is a TDP and the conditions of pre-employment and random testing. And be it further ordained that Chapter 12, Section 12-20, positive results shall be amended by adding the following provisions, subsection C, underlined and in bold. C, positive test results for marijuana shall be treated in accordance with ordinance number 20-66 as amended, Chapter 4, Section 2, unless a failure to do so would cause an employer to imminently lose a monetary or licensing related benefit under federal law or regulations. An employer may not discriminate against a person in hiring, termination, or imposing any term or condition of employment or otherwise penalize a tribal member based upon the person's use or possession of marijuana or a marijuana product. However, employees may act against a tribal member who uses or possesses marijuana or a marijuana product while in the tribal member's place of employment or during the hours of employment. Employers may not act against a tribal member based solely upon the results of a drug testing showing positive for marijuana, a marijuana product, or its components. Be it further ordained that all other provisions of the tribe's drug testing policy shall remain in effect with the foregoing amendments taking effect immediately and shall supersede, repeal, and replace all prior inconsistent laws of the Oglala Sioux Tribe. Certification.
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Little Dog, second by, no. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, on this right here, I believe we changed that from the reconsideration on the TDP up here on D. I thought we changed that to have them reconsider for employment after 30 days, not 6 months.
That's what I thought.
Good eye, Councilman. Yeah, right there.
It should read reconsideration for hire for at least 30 days, not 6 months. We changed it in Law and Order.
Yes, go ahead.
You know, I thought we took that completely out because if you were terminated from somewhere else, then you were automatically eligible to jump in somewhere else. I mean, don't make any difference from 14 days to 30 days. I mean, if you're looking out for the people to get a job, then they should be eligible as soon as possible. I don't think we should hold. I mean, that's just like someone getting fired at Walmart and then going over to McDonald's to get a job next day. I mean, they're looking for employment. What if they didn't work out and let's say childcare and they were a better worker at solid waste? You know, why are we going to hold them to a certain days to apply again? You know, we tell our people to go get employed, but yet we have these in our laws that prohibit them. So I'd just like to see us completely take that out where they're eligible to work as soon as possible. That's just me, but I think that's what we talked about in Law and Order.
Go ahead, Councilwoman.
So you're just saying that we should omit D altogether, right? The whole thing?
That'll allow someone to come go look for a job the very next day if they get terminated somewhere else. Like I said, they didn't work out one place, maybe they'll work out some other place.
Go ahead, Councilman Youngman.
Rayan, I thought we was gonna change the ordinance number on there from 2066 to the new one.
If that new, the reason I didn't was because that new one is an amendment to 2066 as well. So that's why I left it that way. But if you want to remove D, we can take that out of there if the motion maker agrees.
I'll accept that motion. I mean, you guys okay with that? I'll accept it.
We didn't have a second on the floor. Okay. Okay, so with the amended motion, we'll second that by Councilwoman Tapio. The motion was to remove D. Secretary, call for the vote.
Wesley Hawkins Senior,
No.
Jim Meeks,
Yep.
Cora Whitehorse, Ryan Jumping Eagle Senior, Howard Rooks,
Yes.
Austin Watkins Senior, Tyler Yellowboy,
Yes.
Wendell Youngman Junior,
Yes.
Anna Halverson,
No.
James Cross,
Yes.
George Dreamer Junior,
Yes.
Robin Tapio,
Yes.
Tyler Lunderman, David Poyer,
Yeah.
Donroy Gosper,
Yes.
Garfield Little Dog,
Yep.
Craig Dillon.
Yes.
Twelve yes, 3 no, one not voting. Two not voting, correction. Motion passed.
Ready? Ordinance of the Oglala Tribal Council, Oglala Tribe, adopting penalties for tribal court advocates who take payment and fail to perform services for the client. Whereas Oglala Tribe is a sovereign tribal nation that has entered into treaties as a presumed law of the land within the United States government pursuant to U.S. Constitution, Article 4, and is a signatory to the Treaty of Fort Laramie of 1851, 1 Stat 749, September 17th, 1851, and the Treaty of Fort Laramie of 1868, 15 Stat 635, April 29th, 1868, and continues the nation-to-nation relationship with the tribe, with the federal government. And whereas the Oglala Tribe organized under Section 16 of the Indian Reorganization Act of 1934, 25 U.S.C. subsection 5123, by adopting a federally approved constitution and bylaws, and under Article 3 of the Tribal Constitution, Oglala Tribal Council is the governing body of the tribe. Whereas Article 4, Section 1F, 1K, 1M, and 1W empower tribal council to manage the economic affairs of the tribe, protect and preserve the property of the tribe, adopt laws governing the conduct of persons on the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation, and adopt laws protecting and promoting the health and general welfare of the Oglala tribe and its membership. And whereas the Oglala tribal tribe judicial system allows tribal court lay advocates to represent clients in court and to charge a fee or payment for services. And whereas the Oglala Nation Supreme Court has established rules of conduct for professional attorneys and lay advocates adopted by the OSNSCT March 10th, 2006, and whereas tribal court lay advocates must perform their services in accordance with Oglala Nation Supreme Court rules of conduct for professional attorneys and lay advocates, herein rules of conduct. And whereas the rules of conduct require documentations of fees charged and services providing, including retainer agreement signed by both parties with a copy provided to the client. And whereas the Oglala Nation Supreme Court has disciplinary authority over lay advocates and may impose sanctions. A lay advocate who fail to provide services after receiving payment constitutes a gross violation of public's trust and should face penalties for that conduct. And whereas the tribal council members received numerous complaints regarding lay advocates receiving payment and failing to provide services. And whereas the OST Law and Order Committee has deemed it necessary to establish penalties for this violation, has reviewed and proposed penalties and recommends adoption of these penalties by tribal council. Now, therefore, be it ordained that the Oglala Tribal Council does hereby adopt the following penalties for violating the Oglala Nation Supreme Court rules of conduct and the taking of payments from clients and then failing to provide services. Reimbursement and $1,000 fine in addition to any other sanctions that may be imposed by Oglala Nation Supreme Court. And be it further ordained that upon written complaint with merit, the OST Attorney General shall bring forth criminal charges for deceptive business practice in or other applicant charges if there is a failure to reimburse the client. And be it further ordained that this ordinance shall take effect immediately and shall supersede, repeal, and replace all prior inconsistent laws of the Oglala Tribe. Motion.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion by Councilman Watkins, second by Councilwoman Haverson. Secretary, call for the vote.
Wesley Hawkins Senior,
Oh,
Jim Inks,
Yep.
Ryan Jumping Eagle Senior, Howard Rooks,
Yes.
Austin Watkins Senior, Tyler Yellowboy, Wendell Youngman Jr.,
Yes.
James Cross,
Yes.
Anna Halverson,
Yes.
George Dreamer Jr.,
Yes.
Robin Tapio.
Yes.
Tyler Lunderman,
Yes.
David Poyer, Don Ragosper,
Yes.
Garfield Little Dog, Craig Dillon,
Yes.
Thirteen yes, three not voting. Motion passed. Okay, we'll move on to the next agenda item.
Got
Oh,
one
no,
more.
no, we got one more. I'm sorry.
Okay,
Okay, go ahead.
thank you, Chair. Ordinance of the Oglala Sioux Tribal Council of the Oglala Sioux Tribe amending ordinance number 10-02 by removing section 4 regarding contractors and removes them from the list of those required to complete hair follicle drug testing. Whereas the Oglala Sioux Tribe is a sovereign tribal nation that has entered into treaties as the supreme law of the land with the United States government pursuant to the U.S. Constitution, Article 6, and is a signatory to the Treaty of Fort Laramie of 1851, 1 Stat 749, and the Treaty of Fort Laramie of 1868, 15 Stat 635, and continues the nation-to-nation relationship with the federal government. And whereas the Oglala Sioux Tribe organized under Section 16 of the Indian Reorganization Act of 1934, 25 U.S.C. subsection 5123, by adopting a federally approved constitution and bylaws, and under Article 3 of the Tribal Constitution, the Oglala Sioux Tribal Council is the governing body of the tribe. And whereas Article 4, Sections 1F, 1K, 1M, and 1W empower the Tribal Council to manage the economic affairs of the tribe, protect and preserve the property of the tribe, adopt laws governing the conduct of persons on the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation, and adopt laws protecting and promoting the health and general welfare of the Oglala Sioux Tribe and its membership. And whereas ordinance number 10-02 requires hair follicle testing for categories of tribal officials, including board members, political appointees, and contractors. And whereas the requirement for hair follicle drug testing for the contractors is not a federal requirement, and those who work for the tribe are not employees of the tribe and are responsible for their own professional conduct, as well as their subordinates regarding compliance with the drug-free workplace. And whereas the OST Law and Order Committee discussed the matter and determined that the requirement is not necessary and has reviewed the proposed amendment and recommends the approval by Tribal Council. Now, therefore, be it ordained that the Oglala Sioux Tribal Council does hereby approve amending ordinance number 10-02 by removing section 4 regarding contractors and removes them from the list of those required to complete hair follicle and drug testing. And be it further ordained that this ordinance shall take effect immediately and shall supersede, repeal, and replace all prior inconsistent laws of the Oglala Sioux Tribe. Certification.
Second.
Who motioned?
I did.
Okay, motion by Councilman Youngman, second by Councilman Watkins.
And Rhiannon, can you take that last end up? It says end and it goes on to certification.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, we're gonna move on. Call for a vote.
Wesley Hawkins Senior, Jim Meeks,
Yes.
Ryan Jumping Eagle Senior, Howard Rooks, Austin Watkins Senior,
Out.
Tyler Yellowboy, Wendell Youngman Jr.,
Yes.
James Cross,
Yes.
Anna Halverson,
Yes.
George Dreamer Junior,
Yes.
Robin Tapio,
Yes.
Tyler Lunderman, David Poyer, Donroy Gosper,
Yes.
Garfield Little Dog,
Yep.
Craig Dillon.
Yes.
Go ahead, Councilwoman.
Can we get a roll call? Question quorum?
Okay, so is that a six?
Yeah, that's six.
Okay. Okay, so we got 10 yes, 6 not voting, motion passed.
Chairman.
Okay, so it was suggested to take a break. I think we need one. Okay. Oh, yes, let's run the vote. I'm sorry.
Wesley Hawkins Senior, Jim Inks, Ryan Jumping Eagle Senior, Howard Rooks, Austin Watkins Senior,
Oh.
Tyler Yellowboy, Wendell Youngman Junior,
Present.
James Cross,
Yes.
Anna Halverson,
Present.
George Dreamer Junior,
Here.
Robin Tapio,
Present.
Tyler Lunderman,
Here.
David Poyer, Donner Gosper,
Yes.
Garfield Little Dog,
Here.
Craig Dillon, Ryan Jumping Eagle Senior,
Here.
Oh, it's about.
Yep. 15 here, 1 absent.
15 here, 1 absent, 5 excuse. We still maintaining quorum. Just to remind everybody here, you know, when we're voting, we need you here. So what we're going to do, we're going to take a break here. We'll take a 10-minute break.
No, I just want to say thank you to the council for letting us do our stuff.
Yeah, thank you. All right, so we'll take a 10-minute break and then we'll resume at 3:25.
Recording stopped.
Okay, we're going to move on to the next agenda item. Economic and Business Development Committee. Okay, Councilman, it's all yours.
Okay, thank you, Chair. First one on the agenda, we have resolution of the Oglala Sioux Tribal Council, the Oglala Sioux Tribe to remove Robin Tapio from the Economic and Business Development Committee. Whereas the Oglala Sioux Tribe is a sovereign tribal nation that has entered into treaties as the supreme law of the land with the United States government pursuant to the U.S. Constitution
Article 6, and is a signatory to the Treaty of Fort Laramie of 1851, 1 Stat 749, September 17th, 1851. The Treaty of Fort Laramie of 1868, 15 Stat 635, April 29th, 1868, and continues the nation-to-nation relationship with the federal government. And whereas the Oglala Sioux Tribal, organized under Section 16 of the Indian Reorganization Act of 1934, 25 USC subsection 5123, by adopting a federally approved constitution and bylaws, and under Article 3 of the Tribal Constitution, the Oglala Sioux Tribal Council is the governing body of the tribe. And whereas Article 4, Sections 1F, 1K, 1M, and 1W empower the Tribal Council to manage the economic affairs of the tribe, protect and preserve the property of the tribe, adopt laws governing the conduct of persons on the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation, and adopt laws protecting and promoting the health and general welfare of the Oglala Sioux Tribe and its membership. And whereas Councilwoman Robin Tapio made a formal request to resign from the OST Economic and Business Development Committee, and whereas the OST Economic and Business Development Committee met on June 16th and approved the resignation of Councilwoman Robin Tapio from the committee, and recommends the approval of Ms. Tapio's resignation to the Oglala Sioux Tribal Council. Now therefore be it resolved that the Oglala Sioux Tribal Council does hereby approve the resignation of Ms. Tapio from the OST Economic and Business Development Committee.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilman Dreamer, second by Councilman Hawkins. Go ahead.
I don't know if it's proper, but I'd like to include my name on a resolution, if that's okay, George.
If it's okay with the second. Wes is fine with it also, so yes.
Okay, so with the amendment to take off Councilwoman Tapio and add, or to include. Okay. Okay, so also to remove Councilman Little Dog. Secretary, call for the vote.
Wesley Hawkins Senior,
Oh.
Jim Inks,
Yes.
Ryan Jumping Eagle Senior,
They're both getting out of work. No.
Howard Rooks,
Yes.
Austin Watkins Senior,
Oh.
Tyler Yellowboy, Wendell Youngman Jr.,
Yes.
James Cross,
Oh.
Anna Halverson,
Yes.
George Dreamer Jr.,
Yes.
Robin Tapio,
Not voting.
Tyler Lunderman,
On their request, yes.
David Poyer, Donrad Gosper,
Yes.
Garfield Little Dog,
No development, no work. So yes.
Craig Dillon,
Yes.
Well, yes, 2 no, 1 not voting, motion passed.
All right, second one, resolution of Oglala Sioux Tribal Council approving engineering services contract with KLJ Engineering LLC for work with the Oglala Sioux Tribe. Whereas the Oglala Sioux Tribe organized in accordance with Section 16 of the Indian Reorganization Act of 1934 on December 14th, 1935, by adopting a federally approved constitution and bylaws. And the tribal council is the governing body of the tribe. And whereas the tribal constitution authorizes the tribal council in Article 4, Section 1F to manage all economic affairs and enterprises of the tribe, and in Section 1W to protect and promote the health and general welfare of the tribe and its members. And whereas the tribe conducted a request for proposals pursuant to the Tribal Financial Management Manual and supervised by the Office of Department of Transportation for engineering and other services to support the various programs of the Oglala Sioux Tribe for a period of 5 years. Whereas the firm KLJ Engineering LLC submitted a proposal to provide engineering services to the tribe. And whereas a selection committee with members from tribal programs, including the Department of Transportation, Commerce, Contracting, Chief of Staff, and Financial Services was organized to review proposals submitted and are recommending KLJ Engineering LLC for an engineering services contract for a period of 5 years. And whereas the Economic and Business Development Committee of the Tribal Council met on the day of and voted to approve the selection committee's recommendation and forward it to the Tribal Council for final approval. And whereas the Tribal Council has considered the matter and determined that it is in the best interest of the tribe to approve a 5-year multi-services contract with the KLJ Engineering LLC. Now therefore be resolved that the Tribal Council of Oglala Sioux Tribe does hereby approve the attached contract between the Oglala Sioux Tribe and KLJ Engineering LLC for the provision of engineering and other related services to the Oglala Sioux Tribe for 5 years. And be it further resolved that the president or the vice president, in the absence of the president, is hereby authorized to sign the attached contract on behalf of the tribe. Motion.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilman Dreamer, second by Councilman Gosper. Secretary, call for the vote. Okay, question.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I guess this is a question for legal. Did this go through legal? I don't know if Majo's on or not.
No.
Mr. Chairman, did this go through legal?
Is Major on?
No.
No.
It's recommended to her, so probably not.
Kind of hard for me to approve something if it didn't go through legal, but thank you.
Go ahead.
Thank my colleague for bringing that to light. I know in the past couple years, we've had numerous questions as far as, how much money we spent utilizing KLJ, deliverables, services, to the program. And I too have a problem if it wasn't reviewed by our legal office. So could we get an answer before we vote on it?
Yes, I believe they're trying to get her on the phone here. Okay, I guess, according to attorney, it's been, reviewed and it's okay. So with that, we'll run the vote. Secretary?
Wesley Hawkins Senior,
Oh,
Jim Inks,
Yes.
Ryan Jumping Eagle Senior,
Yes.
Howard Rooks,
Not voting.
Austin Watkins Senior,
no.
Tyler Yellowboy,
No.
Wendell Youngman Junior,
No.
James Cross,
Yes.
Anna Halverson,
Yes.
George Dreamer Junior,
Oh, yes.
Robin Tapio,
Yes.
Tyler Lunderman,
Yes.
Donroy Gosper,
Yes.
Garfield Little Dog,
Nope.
Craig Dillon,
No. Nine yes, five no, one not voting, motion passed.
Next one, resolution of Oglala Sioux Tribal Council of the Oglala Sioux Tribe approving the submittal of a community access grant by the Oglala Sioux Tribe Department of Transportation for Manderson Main Street improvements. Whereas the Oglala Sioux Tribe adopted its constitution and bylaws by referendum vote on December 14, 1935, in accordance with Section 16 of the Indian Reorganization Act of 1934, USC subsection 5123, and under Article 3 of the Constitution. The Oglala Sioux Tribal Council is the governing body of the Oglala Sioux Tribe. Whereas the Tribal Constitution authorizes the Tribal Council in Article 4, Section 1A, to advise and negotiate with the federal government on behalf of the tribe. F, to manage all economic affairs and enterprises of the tribe. And Section 1G, to appropriate for public purposes of the tribe any available tribal council funds. And Section 1W, to adopt laws protecting and promoting the health and general welfare of the Oglala Sioux Tribe and its membership. And whereas transportation is a vital part of the Oglala Sioux Tribe's infrastructure, and adequate transportation facilities are essential to sustain and maintain the social and economic well-being of the area. And whereas the South Dakota Department of Transportation provides community access grants on a competitive basis, providing state funds for towns less than 5,000 in population for the construction or reconstruction of major streets in rural communities. And whereas there are businesses, services, and education centers in Manderson which attract residents in the surrounding area. And as a result, there is a high volume of vehicular and pedestrian traffic. Whereas there is not adequate vehicular access management along Manderson Main Street, evidenced by several intersecting roads and business approaches that blend together in an unsafe manner. And whereas a street curb is needed to protect pedestrians walking or biking on the Manderson pathway, which is located along the west side edge of Manderson Main Street. And whereas ADA compliant sidewalk and ramps are needed along the east side for pedestrians accessing housing, the post office, and a basketball court. And whereas the stormwater drains from west to east is not efficiently collected and discharged at Manderson Main Street, BIA Route 33, causing flooding at the park, Pinky Store parking lot, and to homes on the west side. And whereas the Manderson Main Street Improvements Project is the third phase of improvements to infrastructure in the community of Manderson and following the water upgrades and Manderson Pathway projects. And whereas the Manderson Main Street Improvements Project is necessary to prepare for reconstruction of connecting housing streets, which will collect stormwater and will drain through this project. And whereas the 0.25 mile Manderson Main Street Improvements Project will include reconstruction of BIA Route 33 from 0.10 mile north of Pinky Store to 0.15 miles south with curb and gutter, asphalt, concrete pavement, storm sewer, sidewalk, realigning intersections, defining approaches for businesses and service centers, and coordinating work with utilities. And whereas the Oglala Sioux Tribe Department of Transportation will use tribal transportation programs funds to provide the required local match funding. And whereas that the Economic and the Business Development Committee met and approved the community access grant application for the Manderson Main Street Improvements Project. Therefore be resolved, the Oglala Sioux Tribal Council authorizes the submittal of a community access grant application for the Manderson Main Street Improvements Project. Being an applicant includes a willingness to secure and guarantee the local share of costs associated with this project and responsibility for seeing this project through its completion with compliance of all applicable laws, rules, and regulations.
Motion.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilman Jumping Eagle. We have a second.
I'll second.
Second by Councilman Hawkins. Second by Councilman Gosper. Go ahead, Councilman.
Chair, I'm sorry, I think, Mr. Little Dog wanted to make that motion and I jumped the gun.
Motion, I guess.
Okay, motion by Councilman Little Dog. Go ahead, Councilwoman.
Can we make an amendment to that resolution to include the sovereign tribal nation treaties or the supreme law of the land with the right article numbers in the sections? Article 4, Section 1F, 1K, 1M, and 1W.
Do we have any objections with the motions? No? Okay, so we'll add with amendments.
And also we need to insert the date of the ANBD committee on the last page. And I believe that was 6/16/23.
Okay,
Wesley Hawkins Senior,
Scumpo, out.
Jim Minks,
Yes.
Ryan Jumping Eagle Senior,
Yes.
Howard Rooks,
Yes.
Austin Watkins Senior,
Out.
Tyler Yellowboy,
Yep.
Wendell Youngman Junior,
Yes.
James Cross,
Yes.
Anna Halverson,
Yes.
George Dreamer Junior,
Yes.
Robin Tapio,
Yes.
Tyler Lunderman,
Yes.
Donroy Gosper,
Yes.
Garfield Little Dog, Craig Dillon,
Yes.
unanimous 15, motion passed.
Can I have co-chair Councilman Youngman read the next one? Oh, sorry, that was it.
Okay, so we're gonna move on to the next agenda item, is education.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Resolution of the Oglala Sioux Tribal Council of the Oglala Sioux Tribe setting the quorum for meetings of the Oglala Sioux Tribe Education Committee at 5 council persons during the Star Comes Out Muso administration, which change is in compliance with Section 6 of Ordinance 1922. Whereas the Oglala Sioux Tribe is a sovereign tribal nation that has entered into treaties as the supreme law of the land with the United States government pursuant to the U.S. Constitution, Article 4, and as a signatory of the Treaty of Fort Laramie of 1851, 1 Stat 749, September 17th, 1851, and the Treaty of Fort Laramie of 1868, 15 Stat 635, April 29th, 1868, and continues the nation-to-nation relationship with the federal government. And whereas the Oglala Sioux Tribe organized under Section 16 of the Indian Reorganization Act of 1934, 25 USC subsection 5123, by adopting a federally approved constitution and bylaws under Article 3 of the Tribal Constitution, the Oglala Sioux Tribal Council is the governing body of the tribe. And whereas Article 4, Sections 1F, 1K, 1M, and 1W empower the tribal council to manage the economic affairs of the tribe, protect and preserve the property of the tribe, adopt laws governing the conduct of persons on the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation, and to adopt laws protecting and promoting the health and general welfare of the Oglala Sioux tribe and its membership. And whereas the Oglala Sioux tribe on the 29th day of May 2019, by adopting ordinance 1922, did set forth a standing committee ordinance which governs the standing committees. And whereas Section 6 of the Indian Reorganization, Section 6 of the ordinance 1922, a standing committee can change its quorum with approval of the Oglala Sioux Tribal Council by resolution, which change in quorum shall be effective for the administration in which it is approved. And whereas the OST Education Committee on the 12th day of June 2023 with the quorum present to conduct business and did approve that a resolution be drafted and presented to the Oglala Sioux Tribal Council to change the OST Education Committee quorum for the Star Comes Out Musu administration to 5 council persons. Now therefore be it resolved that the Oglala Sioux Tribal Council does hereby, based upon the recommendation of the OST Education Committee, approve in accordance with Section 6 of Ordinance 1922, the quorum of the OST Education Committee meetings to be set at 5 council persons for the Star Comes Out Musu administration. Motion.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion by Councilman Yellowboy, second by Councilman Lunderman. Secretary, call for the vote.
Wesley Hawkins Senior,
Oh,
Jim Inks, Ryan Jumping Eagle Senior,
Yes.
Howard Rooks,
Yes.
Austin Watkins Senior, Tyler Yellowboy,
Yes.
Wendell Youngman Junior,
Yes.
James Cross,
Yes.
Anna Halverson,
Yes.
George Dreamer Junior,
Yes.
Robin Tapio,
Yes.
Tyler Lunderman,
Yes.
Donroy Gosper,
Yes.
Craig Dillon,
Yes.
Unanimous 14, motion passed.
Thank you, Council. Resolution of the Oglala Sioux Tribal Council of the Oglala Sioux Tribe removing John Steele Senior as a voting member of the Oglala Sioux Tribal Education Committee in compliance with Section 7 of Ordinance 1922. Whereas the Oglala Sioux Tribe is a sovereign tribal nation that has entered into treaties as the supreme law of the land, which the United States government pursuant to the U.S. Constitution Article 4, and is a signature to the Treaty of Fort Laramie of 1851, 1 Stat 749, September 17th, 1851, and the Treaty of Fort Laramie of 1868, 15 Stat 635, April 29th, 1868, and continues the nation-to-nation relationship. That's supposed to be Article 6, I believe. Is that 4? Okay. It says, anyway, make the change. In the nation-to-nation relationship with the federal government. And whereas the Oglala Sioux Tribe organized under Section 16 of the Indian Reorganization Act of 1934, 25 USC subsection 5123, by adopting a federally approved constitution and bylaws, and under Article 3 of the Tribal Constitution, the Oglala Sioux Tribal Council is the governing body of the tribe. Whereas Article 6, Sections 1F, 1K, 1M, and 1W empower the Tribal Council to manage the economic affairs of the tribe, protect and preserve the property of the tribe, adopt laws governing the conduct of persons on the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation, and adopt laws protecting and promoting the health and general welfare of the Oglala Sioux Tribe and its membership. And whereas the Oglala Sioux Tribe on the 29th day of May 2019, by adopting a ordinance 1922, did set forth a standing committee ordinance which governs the standing committees of the Oglala Sioux Tribal Council. And whereas at section 7 of the ordinance 1922, a tribal council representative can be removed from the committee if that council representative fails to attend 3 consecutive committee meetings, and the removal of the representative from the committee shall be confirmed by tribal council resolution. And whereas on the 16th day of May 2023, the OST Education Committee did direct the chairperson of the OST Education Committee to contact John Steele Sr. and request that John Steele Sr. attend the Education Committee meeting of that. John Steele Sr. resigned from the Education Committee, which the chairperson did notify John Steele Sr. by letter dated May 24th, 2023. Whereas the request made on May 24th, 2023 letter to John Steele Sr. was based upon the fact that John Steele Sr. has not attended unexcused absences to OST Education Committee members since John Steele was appointed to the Education Committee by the OST Tribal Council Resolution number 22-198, which is more than 3 consecutive meetings. And whereas the OST Education Committee on the 12th day of June 2023 with the quorum present to conduct business did approve that a resolution be drafted and presented to the Oglala Sioux Tribal Council to remove John Steele Sr. as a voting member of the OST Education Committee. Now therefore be it resolved that the Oglala Sioux Tribal Council does hereby, based upon the recommendation of the OST Education Committee, approve in accordance with Section 7 of Ordinance 1922, the removal of John Steele Sr. as a voting member of the OST Education Committee. Motion.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilman Yellowboy. Second by Councilman Hawkins. Okay, comment.
You know, I'm gonna make a comment on this because we just changed a quorum with education from 6 to 5 members. So, you know, sounds like there's an issue with committee members going to these meetings. And I know I don't see everybody, all the council reps who are on committees going to meetings either. So are we gonna start removing other council reps from standing committees that don't show up? Or if they just log on to Zoom for just to be counted present and then log off? You know, I don't support this at all. I think it's just, you know, we have other members here that also need to attend committee meetings. Thank you.
Is there any other comments? Okay, Secretary, call for the vote.
Wesley Hawkins Senior,
Oh,
Jim Meeks,
No.
Ryan Jumping Eagle Senior,
Yes.
Howard Rooks,
Yes.
Austin Watkins Senior, Tyler Yellowboy,
Yes.
Wendell Youngman Junior,
Yes.
James Cross,
Yes.
Anna Halverson,
No.
George Dreamer Junior,
No.
Robin Tapio,
Yes.
Tyler Lunderman, Donroy Gosper,
No.
Craig Dillon,
No. Nine yes, 5 no, motion passed.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, moving on to HHS Committee.
I think it's finance number 11.
Correction, Finance, thank you. Finance Committee.
Thank you. Ordinance of the Oglala Sioux Tribal Council of the Oglala Sioux Tribe amending ordinance number 23-23, authorizing a modified day labor program, adding needed positions and clarifying titles and pay. Whereas the Oglala Sioux Tribe is a sovereign tribal nation that has entered into treaties as a supreme law of the land with the United States government pursuant to the U.S. Constitution, Article 6, and is a signatory to the Treaty of Fort Laramie of 1851, 1 Stat 749, and the Treaty of Fort Laramie of 1868, 15 Stat 635, and continues the nation-to-nation relationship with the federal government. And whereas the Oglala Sioux Tribe organized under Section 16 of the Indian Reorganization Act of 1934, 25 USC subsection 5123, by adopting a federally approved constitution and bylaws. And under Article 3 of the Tribal Constitution, the Oglala Sioux Tribal Council is the governing body of the tribe. And whereas Article 4, Sections 1F, 1K, 1M, and 1W empower the Tribal Council to manage the economic affairs of the tribe, protect and preserve the property of the tribe, adopt laws governing the conduct of persons on the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation, and adopt laws protecting and promoting the health and general welfare of the Oglala Sioux Tribe and its membership. And whereas in response to the COVID-19 public health emergency, the tribe declared a state of emergency on the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation, and the tribal council adopted numerous ordinances and resolutions to establish and implement public health measures and emergency relief programs, and to otherwise address the health, welfare, and safety of the tribe, its members, and other reservation residents in relation to the COVID-19 pandemic. And whereas COVID-19 virus and its variants has caused illness and death and continues to present a threat to public health, especially for the unvaccinated and immunocompromised. And whereas there are certain tribal programs that have received funding through the American Rescue Plan, ARP Act, Public Law 117-2, to mitigate and respond to the COVID-19 public health emergency and to respond to the impact of COVID-19 on the tribe's communities, residents, and businesses. And whereas there is a need for the day labor program to continue in carrying out certain response, prevention, and mitigation efforts against the spread of COVID-19 and negative economic impact within our tribal communities that include prevention, education, testing and vaccination promotion, contact tracing, assistance with quarantine, transportation to healthcare facilities, and other services. And whereas on May 20th, 2021, the Tribal Council enacted ordinance number 21-30 that established the Oglala Sioux Tribe Day Labor Program to mitigate and respond to the COVID-19 public health emergency on the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation. And whereas there are available funds in the OST Health Administration ARPA funds, and whereas on May 31st, 2023, the Tribal Council enacted ordinance number 23-23 that resumed a modified day labor program. And whereas there is additional day laborers needed and clarification on the positions needed and the rate of pay of several of the positions. And whereas the OST Finance Committee has reviewed the need for the additional day labor positions, the pay rate of several positions, and reallocation of a day labor position, and recommends amending ordinance number 23-23 to meet those needs. Now therefore be it ordained that the Oglala Sioux Tribal Council does hereby amend ordinance number 23-23 to include the following positions as follows. 1, overall supervisor at $17 an hour. 1, timekeeper position at $17 an hour. 1, supervisor per district. 9, at $15 an hour. 8, day labor positions per district at $12 an hour. 5, grave diggers at $15 an hour. 1, accounts payable position at $15 an hour. 1, ARPA day labor position at $15 an hour. 2, day labor positions for revenue department at $15 an hour. 5, day labor positions for vice president's office at $14 an hour. 2, day labor positions for COVID office at $12 an hour. 2, day labor positions for records retention at $12 an hour. And be it further ordained that the program shall resume under the most recent prior day labor guideline policies. And be it further ordained, the funding source shall be the OST Health Administration ARPA budget modification number 5. And be it further ordained that this ordinance shall take effect immediately and continue until as long as funding is available or until December 31st, 2024, whichever occurs first, and shall supersede, repeal, and replace all prior inconsistent laws of the Oglala Sioux Tribe. Motion to approve.
Motion by Councilman Jumping Eagle, second by Councilman Yellow Boy. Call for the vote.
Wesley Hawkins Senior,
Oh.
Jim Inks,
Yes.
Ryan Jumping Eagle Senior,
Yes.
Howard Rooks, Austin Watkins Senior, Tyler Yellowboy,
Yes.
Wendell Youngman Junior,
Yes.
James Cross,
Yes.
Anna Halverson,
Yes.
George Dreamer Junior,
Yes.
Robin Tapio,
Yes.
Tyler Lunderman,
Yes.
Don Gosper,
Yes.
Craig Dillon,
Unanimous 14, motion passed.
Okay, the next one is ordinance, wrong one. Ordinance of the Oglala Sioux Tribal Council of the Oglala Sioux Tribe amending the Oglala Sioux Tribe Loan Program policies and procedures adopted by ordinance 22-34 to modify long-term loan policy section to provide for rewrites for tribal council and executive committee members. Whereas the Oglala Sioux Tribe is a sovereign tribal nation that has entered into treaties as the supreme law of the land with the United States government pursuant to the U.S. Constitution, Article 6, and is a signatory to the Treaty of Fort Laramie of 1851, 1 Stat 749, and the Treaty of Fort Laramie of 1868, 15, and continues a nation-to-nation relationship with the federal government. And whereas the Oglala Sioux Tribe are organized under Section 16 of the Indian Reorganization Act of 1934, 25 U.S.C. subsection 5123, by adopting a federally approved constitution and bylaws. And under Article 3 of the Tribal Constitution, the Oglala Sioux Tribal Council is the governing body of the tribe. And whereas Article 4, Section 1F, 1K, 1M, and 1W empower the Tribal Council to manage the economic affairs of the tribe, protect and preserve the property of the tribe, adopt laws governing the conduct of persons on the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation, and adopt laws protecting and promoting the health and general welfare of the Oglala Sioux Tribe and its membership. And whereas the Oglala Sioux Tribe has created a revolving loan program to assist Oglala Sioux tribal employees, tribal entity employees, Oglala Lakota College employees, and tribal contracted school employees, those employees who pay the 2% right to work fee. And whereas it has been determined that the ability for tribal council representatives and executive committee members to rewrite long-term loans provides an important benefit. Whereas the OST Finance Committee has reviewed amending the policy on evolving loans with respect to tribal council representatives and executive committee members, and now recommends the approval of amendments to Part 2D of the Oglala Sioux Tribe Loan Program policies and procedures. Now therefore be it ordained that the Oglala Sioux Tribal Council does hereby amend Oglala Sioux Tribe Program policies and procedures adopted by ordinance number 22-34 and other amendments by amending Part 2D, which shall read as follows. Number 2, long-term loans, tribal employees. D, tribal council members and executive committee members may borrow up to $8,000 plus a 10% processing fee. The total repayment amount shall be scheduled for not more than 25 consecutive pay period payments or by the corresponding number of pay periods remaining in the current political administration term of office, whichever is less. Provided that there are adequate revolving loan funds, tribal council members and executive committee members may rewrite long-term loans when the payoff balance is at 50% of the existing loan, including the 10% processing fee. Example, $2,000 loan, $200 processing fee, total $2,200. 50% is $1,100. All rewritten loans will be charged a processing fee equal to 10% of the additional funds added by the rewrite. The total amount of the rewrite balance shall not exceed the limit set for long-term loans, and all other long-term loan policies shall still apply, including the time frame for repayment in the paragraph set above. And be it further ordained that this ordinance shall take effect immediately and shall supersede, repeal, and replace all prior inconsistent laws of the Oglala Sioux Tribe.
We have a
Motion.
motion. Okay, we have a motion by Councilwoman Halverson, a second by Councilman Hawkins. Call for the vote.
Wesley Hawkins Senior,
Oh,
Jim Meeks,
Yes.
Ryan Jumping Eagle Senior,
Yes.
Howard Rooks,
Yes.
Austin Watkins Senior, Tyler Yellowboy, Wendell Youngman Junior,
Yes.
Anna Halverson,
Yes.
George Dreamer Junior, Robin Tapio,
Yes.
Tyler Lunderman,
Yes.
Donroy Gosper,
yes.
Craig Dillon,
Yes.
James Cross,
Unanimous 14, motion passed.
Resolution of the Oglala Sioux Tribal Council approving Doug O'Brien Contracting Incorporated's contract change order number 1 to add work for the construction of the Pine Ridge Sewer Lining Phase 2 contract, PR 2021-CS-4. Whereas the Oglala Sioux Tribe is a sovereign tribal nation that has entered into treaties as the supreme law of the land with the United States government pursuant to the U.S. Constitution, Article 6, and is a signatory to the Treaty of Fort Laramie of 1851, 1 Stat 749, and the Treaty of Fort Laramie of 1868, 15 Stat 635, and continues the nation-to-nation relationship with the federal government. And whereas the Oglala Sioux Tribe are organized under Section 16 of the Indian Reorganization Act of 1934, 25 USC subsection 5123, by adopting a federally approved constitution and bylaws. And under Article 3 of the Tribal Constitution, the Oglala Sioux Tribal Council is the governing body of the tribe. And whereas Articles 4, Sections 1F, 1K, 1M, and 1W empower the Tribal Council to manage the economic affairs of the tribe, protect and preserve the property of the tribe, adopt laws governing the conduct of persons on the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation, and adopt laws protecting and promoting the health and general welfare of the Oglala Sioux Tribe and its membership. And whereas the Oglala Sioux Tribal Council has the authority to approve contracts and change orders, and whereas the Health and Human Services Committee is a standing committee of the Tribal Council that oversees the Indian Health Service, Martin sanitation facilities, construction contracts, and whereas the Oglala Sioux Tribe's Water and Sewer Company requires the approval of a change order and contract modification to add additional work to contract PR 2021-CS-4 between the Oglala Sioux Tribe and Doug O'Brien Contracting, Inc. And whereas on June 13th, 2023, the Oglala Sioux Tribe Health and Human Services Committee met during regular session and approved the change order to add work to the contract. Change order number 1 will increase contract PR 2021-CS-4 by a total of $136,650 from $3,917,247.20 to $4,053,897.20. No additional time is requested. Now therefore be resolved that the Tribal Council of the Oglala Sioux Tribe has voted to approve the contract change order for Doug O'Brien's contracting to add work to the Pine Ridge Sewer Lining Phase 2 contract, PR 2021-CS-4, and increase the contract total by $136,650 from $3,917,247.20 to $4,053,897.20. And be it further resolved, the tribal president, or in his absence, the vice president, is hereby authorized to sign any documents necessary to execute contract change order number 1. Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, motion by Councilman Jumping Eagle, second by Councilwoman Halverson. Call for the vote.
Wesley Hawkins Senior,
Oh,
Jim Meeks,
Yes.
Ryan Jumping Eagle Senior,
Yes.
Howard Rooks,
Yes.
Austin Watkins Senior,
Out.
Tyler Yellowboy, Wendell Youngman Junior,
Yes.
James Cross,
Yes.
Anna Halverson,
Yes.
George Dreamer Junior,
Yes.
Robin Tapio,
Yes.
Tyler Lunderman, Don Ragosper,
Yes.
Craig Dillon,
Twelve yes, two not voting, motion passed. Council, there was suggested that, if we want to keep going, we can probably order something for dinner. We need to know now so we can put in an order.
Chairman,
Go ahead.
Chair, I think we just got three, regular agenda items to do.
Okay,
And if it's okay with council and you, Chairman, to just recess after that till tomorrow and finish the 2/3 in the reports.
sounds like a plan to me.
I think it'd be a good time to let the ones here from the schools know that we won't get to them till tomorrow. That way they don't have to sit here and wait.
Yes. So we'll go ahead and finish up here and then tackle the 2/3 in the morning.
Should I continue, Chair?
Yes.
Resolution of the Guadalupe Tribal Council of the Guadalupe Tribe amending resolution number 23-17, time period for rescission and approving the Tribal House LLC, AKA Tribal EM PLC, all-inclusive service payment of $167,854.80 for services rendered from November 1st, 2022 through June 17th, 2023. Whereas the Guadalupe Tribe organized under Section 16 of the Indian Reorganization Act of 1934, 25 USC subsection 5123, by adopting a federally approved constitution and bylaws, and under Article 3 of the Tribal Constitution, the Guadalupe Tribal Council is the governing body of the tribe. And whereas Articles 4, Section 1F, 1K, 1M, and 1W empower the Tribal Council to manage the economic affairs and enterprises of the tribe, protect and preserve the property of the tribe, adopt laws governing the conduct of persons on the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation, and adopt laws protecting and promoting the health and general welfare of the Guadalupe Tribe and its membership. And whereas the West Tea Native Women's Healthcare Clinic is a PL 93-638 tribal program providing obstetrics and gynecological healthcare services to the Native American population in Rapid City, South Dakota. And whereas the West Tea Native Women's Healthcare Clinic entered into an agreement with the Tribal Health LLC, aka Tribal EM PLLC, and who provided NWHC with temporary healthcare staffing services during the time period November 1st, 2022 to March 15th, 2023. And whereas the resolution number 22-155 approved the agreement with Tribal Health, and Tribal Health provided services in accordance with the agreement, but had not signed the agreement due to internal issues with turnover and staff within the company. And whereas NWHC proposed rescinding the agreement as it was not signed, and in resolution number 23-17 rescinded resolution number 22-155, but NWHC found it necessary to continue to utilize services due to the need for coverage by professional staff. And whereas Tribal Health has provided services and has submitted invoices for payment for those services and has submitted the signed contract, and both NWHC have terminated the agreement with notice and completion of services. And whereas the NWHC is proposing an amendment to resolution number 23-17 to amend the time period for rescission from October 1st, 2022 through September 30th, 2023 to June 17th, 2023 through September 30th, 2023. And whereas the Health and Human Services Committee reviewed the issues and proposed amendment to resolution number 23-17, recommends that tribal council approve of the amendment and payment to tribal health. Now therefore be it resolved, the Oglala Sioux Tribal Council does hereby approve the amendment to resolution number 23-17 for the time period of rescission from October 1st, 2022 through September 30th, 2023, amending the June 17th, 2023 to September 30th, 2023. And be it further resolved that the tribal council hereby authorizes payment to Tribal Health LLC, aka Tribal EMP LLC, in the amount of $167,854.80 from the Native Women's Healthcare Clinic third-party revenue fund account. Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we've got a motion by Councilman Jumping Eagle, second by Councilman Tapio. Secretary, call for the vote.
Wesley Hawkins Senior,
Oh.
Jim Inks,
Yes.
Ryan Jumping Eagle Senior,
Yes.
Howard Rooks,
Yes.
Austin Watkins Senior,
Oh.
Tyler Yellowboy,
Yes.
Wendell Youngman Junior,
Yes.
James Cross,
Yes.
Anna Halverson,
Yes.
Robin Tapio,
Yes.
Tyler Lunderman,
Yes.
Donroy Gosper,
Yes.
Craig Dillon,
Unanimous 14, motion passed.
Chair, I'm also the vice chair of lands, so I'll do lands also.
Okay. Let's switch it, turn your hat around.
Yeah. Resolution of the Tribal Council of the Oglala Sioux Tribe approving the recontracting contract number W9128F23P0043 of the Oglala Sioux Tribe Natural Resources Regulatory Agency, Badlands Bombing Range Department to perform the services under the fixed price agreement with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, Omaha District, in the amount of $235,555.12 for the period of time from June 30th, 2023 through June 29th, 2024. Whereas the Oglala Sioux Tribe adopted its constitution and bylaws by referendum vote on December 14th, 1935, in accordance with Section 16 of the Indian Organization Act of 1934, 25 USC subsection 5123, and under Article 3 of the Oglala Sioux Tribe Constitution, the Oglala Sioux Tribal Council is the governing body of the Oglala Sioux Tribe. And whereas the Land and Natural Resources Committee is the standing committee of the Tribal Council with oversight authority over the Badlands Bombing Range Department, which committee did meet on June 5th, 2023, with a quorum present, and did approve this resolution, and the attached agreement be forwarded to the Tribal Council for their action. And whereas the Oglala Sioux Tribe Natural Resources Regulatory Agency, Badlands Bombing Range Department has through previous resolutions and funding agreements with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, Omaha District has successfully completed all such previous requirements under the fixed price agreements. And whereas the Oglala Sioux Tribe upholds the agreed upon stipulations from the April 2005 and May 29, 2009 consultations with the USACE, which calls for the continued funding from the USACE for the Badlands Bombing Range Department until the cleanup of the Badlands area is completed. And whereas the consultation in April 2005 concluded with items agreed upon in order to continue the work on the Badlands area by the USACE and its contractors, representing and acting on behalf of the Oglala Sioux Tribe, were members of the Tribal Council and Executive Board, including the OST president, and for the USACE was Colonel Bidet. And it was agreed that the Oglala Sioux tribe would be provided funding needed to reopen a Badlands Bombing Range Department office under the OST Natural Resources Regulatory Agency until the entire cleanup efforts are completed on the contaminated Badlands area. That the funding would support the Oglala Sioux tribe in implementing the following functions: serving as the primary point of the contact between the Oglala Sioux tribe and the USACE regarding all matters on the Badlands Range, also for tribal members seeking assistance or information. Providing education, outreach, and safety briefings to the Oglala Sioux tribe and its members, including 2 tribal council meetings, programs, and others. Providing status reports to the Oglala Sioux tribe and its members on the cleanup efforts, including presentations to tribal council committees, programs, and others. Providing coordination assistance with project manager meetings held at a variety of locations regarding the status of the cleanup efforts. Providing status reports to the Oglala Sioux tribe and its members on the cleanup efforts, as well as coordinating USACE presentations to the Oglala Sioux tribe and its members. Providing a repository in the office which is open to the public, containing documents and reports. Providing Lakota language assistance in public meetings, education outreach, cleanup status meetings, and safety briefings to help with understanding the processes of the project. Providing assistance to the USACE and its contractors with obtaining required tribal permits for work on the Badlands Bombing Range. And whereas in June 2005, the Oglala Sioux tribe reopened the Badlands Bombing Range Department office under the direction of the OST Natural Resources Regulatory Agency through a cooperative agreement utilizing formerly used defense sites funding available from the Department of Defense through USACE. And this funding also allowed for the continued cleanup action plan to be implemented by the USACE, and communication between the Oglala Sioux tribe and the USACE was reestablished through the Badlands Bombing Range Department. And whereas in cleanup efforts on the former Badlands Bombing Range, considerable quantities of cultural resources have been identified, including archaeological and paleontological findings, and which identifying and protecting of cultural resources of all those working on the Badlands Bombing Range remain a high priority of the Oglala Sioux tribe. And whereas the USACE is called upon to re-contract with the Oglala Sioux tribe through a fixed price agreement in the amount of $235,555.12 under the OST Natural Resources Regulatory Agency Badlands Bombing Range Department to complete the tasks as outlined in the performance work statement of the agreement during the period of time from June 30th, 2023 to June 29th, 2024. And whereas the agreement will be utilized to operate the Badlands Bombing Range Department office to staff 1 full-time Badlands Bombing Range Specialist Cultural Liaison position, 1 full-time Outreach Coordinator position, supplement 1 part-time Director, the current Natural and Cultural Resources Director, and to supplement 1 part-time Office Manager, current Office Manager position, and to administer the agreement, serve as point of contact, provide education and safety outreach, serve as a repository of reports, and complete other related tasks stated in the performance work statement. Now, therefore, it be resolved that the Oglala Sioux tribe, based upon the recommendation of the OST Land and Natural Resources Committee, does approve the attached recontracting fixed price agreement between the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, Omaha District, and the OST Natural Resources Regulatory Agency, Badlands Bombing Range Department in the amount of $235,555.12 for the period time from June 30th, 2023 to June 29th, 2024. Be it further resolved that the President of the Oglala Sioux tribe or the Vice President of the Oglala Sioux tribe, in the absence of the OST President, is directed to sign this resolution and the attached recontracting fixed price agreement between the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, Omaha District, and the OST Natural Resources Regulatory Agency, Badlands Bombing Range Department. Be it further resolved that the President or the Vice President of the Oglala Sioux tribe, in the absence of the President, is authorized to sign the DD 1155 form order for supplies or services contract purchase order agreement number W9128F23P0043 between the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, Omaha District, and the OST Natural Resources Regulatory Agency, Badlands Bond Range Department for a total of $235,555.12 as presented and by so signing to bind the Oglala Sioux Tribe. Motion to approve.
Motion by Councilman Jumping Eagle, second by Councilman Watkins. Well, we've been messing your last name all day.
Maybe you should just call it by first name. Get tired of being called.
Secretary, call for the vote.
Wesley Hawkins Senior,
Oh,
Jim Meeks,
Yep.
Ryan Jumping Eagle Senior,
Yes.
Howard Rooks,
Yes.
Austin Watkins Senior, Tyler Yellowboy, Wendell Youngman Junior,
Yes.
James Cross,
Yes.
Anna Halverson,
Yes.
George Dreamer Junior,
Yes.
Robin Tapio,
Yes.
Tyler Lunderman,
Yes.
Donroy Gosper,
Yes.
Craig Dillon,
Yes.
Unanimous 14, motion passed.
Chairman,
Go ahead.
I'll also be doing a Youth Affairs Committee. I'm the chairman of that committee.
Flip that hat back around. Okay.
All right. Resolution of the Oglala Sioux Tribal Council of the Oglala Sioux Tribe to appoint Wesley Hawkins Senior to the Youth Affairs Committee. Whereas the Oglala Sioux Tribe is a sovereign tribal nation that has entered into treaties as the supreme law of the land with the United States government pursuant to the U.S. Constitution, Article 6, and is a signatory to the Treaty of Fort Laramie of 1851, 1 Stat 749, and the Treaty of Fort Laramie of 1868, 15 Stat 635, and continues the nation-to-nation relationship with the federal government. And whereas the Oglala Sioux Tribe organized under Section 16 of the Indian Reorganization Act of 1934, 25 USC, subsection 5123, by adopting a federally approved constitution and bylaws, and under Article 3 of the Tribal Constitution, the Oglala Sioux Tribal Council is the governing body of the tribe. And whereas Article 1F, 1K, 1M, and 1W empower the Tribal Council to manage the economic affairs of the tribe, protect and preserve the property of the tribe, adopt laws governing the conduct of persons on the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation, and adopt laws protecting and promoting the health and general welfare of the Oglala Sioux Tribe and its membership. And whereas, there's two whereases in there, Stacy. By ordinance number 19-22, May 29, 2019, the Tribal Council adopted the Standing Committee Ordinance of the Oglala Sioux Tribe. And whereas the OST Youth Affairs Committee met on June 2nd, 2023, and adopted a motion to appoint Wesley Hawkins Senior, Eagle Nest District Representative, to the Youth Affairs Committee, and now recommends the Oglala Sioux Tribal Council approve the appointment of Mr. Hawkins Senior to the Youth Affairs Committee. Now therefore be it resolved that the Oglala Sioux Tribal Council does hereby approve the appointment of Wesley Hawkins Senior to the Youth Affairs Committee. Motion to approve.
Okay, you got
Second.
motion by Councilman
Second.
Jumping Eagle, second by Councilman Dreamer. I saw you watching me. Call for the vote.
Wesley Hawkins Senior,
huh. Llámalo.
Jim Meeks,
Yes.
Ryan Jumping Eagle Senior,
Yes.
Howard Rooks,
Yes.
Austin Watkins Senior,
Oh.
Tyler Yellowboy,
Yes.
Wendell Youngman Junior,
Yes.
James Cross,
Yes.
Anna Halverson,
Yes.
George Dreamer Junior,
Yes.
Robin Tapio,
Yes.
Tyler Lunderman,
Yes.
Donroy Gosper,
Yes.
Craig Dillon,
Yes.
Unanimous 14, motion passed. Go ahead, Councilman.
Chairman, I forgot I was gonna make a motion to as a youth affairs, chairman, to honor those youth that got honored today with, to gift them a sweater like we did with all the other youth we honored. That team from Oahu and the two Sierra sisters and the two Eagle girl.
Second.
That's my
Okay.
motion.
Okay, so we have a motion by Councilman Jumping Eagle and second by Councilman Lunderman. Call for the vote.
Wesley Hawkins Senior,
Oh,
Jim Minks,
yes.
Ryan Jumping Eagle Senior,
Yes.
Howard Rooks,
Yes.
Austin Watkins Senior, Tyler Yellowboy,
Yes.
Wendell Youngman Junior,
Yes.
James Cross,
Yes.
Anna Halverson,
Yes.
George Dreamer Junior,
Yes.
Robin Tapio,
Yes.
Tyler Lunderman,
Yes.
Donroy Gosper,
Yes.
Craig Dillon,
Unanimous 14, motion passed. Okay, that concludes the regular session. We can do the reports in the morning. You want? That way we can get out of here. It's 4:30.
What time are we starting? 8?
That. We're gonna just remember to be here at regular time, 10 o'clock, but our next council meeting, we're gonna start at 9. So thank you, council, for your patience today. You can leave your stuff. And we'll see you tomorrow, 10 o'clock sharp. We will be starting. Oh, also, Councilman, tomorrow, Representative Johnson is going to be here, doing the tour. So he's gonna meet down in Pine Ridge, and then he's gonna go on to the Wounded Knee site. He wanted a tour over there. Now whereabouts he's gonna go after that, I'm not sure. Still trying to find out those details. So we're working with his assistant. So I encourage you guys to, if wherever he ends up at, I'm sure he'll be here to voice your, I guess, if he has questions on the Wounded Knee bill. So, but that's going on tomorrow. So have a good night.
well, now you have enough time to,